everybody, welcome to the Nordic Star Crochet-Along. My name is Erin. I'm a crochet pattern designer. My business name is Juniper and Oaks. I love hosting crochet-alongs and I'm so excited to be hosting the Nordic Star Crochet-Along. I'm excited. This is part 1 of the CAL, and in the very first part, ignore this bottom part because that's the border, we're going to be crocheting up this medallion or bauble. I think we'll go with bauble. We'll be doing this bauble section and then also these tiny little boxes. So section 1 will actually be 2 different charts, and it's going to be this section here. Okay, I'm really excited to start, so we might as well just jump right in. I'm going to be using the Wander acrylic yarn from Furls Crochet, and this is 100% acrylic yarn. Furls did give me the yarn for this project, and she's also giving you guys a coupon code for 15% off through September 25th, 2023, using the code Juniper CAL. That works for all the Wander yarn, and as well as the Streamline resin, which is the Zodiac and the Galaxy hooks, as well as the Streamline wooden hooks as well. So go ahead and shop that. You can use whatever yarn you want for your blanket. But this is just what I'm using. Thanks, Furls, for that. Okay, so your pattern for section 1 will look something like this. It comes with a chart and it comes with written instructions. We're going to be working basically off the chart here. And I'm going to put this up as to not confuse myself. Here we have the legend here, A and B. Those are just the beginning border stitches, and you can tell what color you're going to use. If it's a clear box, you use the black loop only single crochet. If it has an X in it, you do the front loop only double crochet, and that's going to be worked 2 rows below, and that will become clearer in a little bit. And then at the end here, we have our beginning and ending border stitches. The red line is our repeat, so that those stitches in between those lines are going to be repeated over and over and over again. I have some video resources on how to work the repeats, and so that is a clickable link on the computer. So to start out with, you see in row 1, we're going to do a foundation single crochet of 203 stitches, or any multiple of 50 plus 3. For this video, I'm going to do 50 plus 3, so I'm going to do 53 single crochets. I'm going to do the foundation single crochet. Here, if it's too confusing for you, just chain 54 and then single crochet into the second loop, or second chain. I think that's how that works. You just want to end up with 53 single crochets, or 203 or whatever. I have been asked, can I make it wider or shorter? The main blanket has 4 big Nordic stars. You can choose to do 3 big Nordic stars. Just know that the Nordic Star is 50 stitches, so you'll want to work around that in order to make your blanket look even. Make sure that your blanket has any multiple of 50 plus 3. Got it? Does that make sense? Clear as mud. I would also like to point out that for the chart, color A is going to be my darker color, is going to be my Laguna, the blue, and that color B is the white. And so I try to reflect that in the chart by having dark and light. So color A is going to be like this background color. Make sure that you have a good pair of scissors because you are going to be snipping off at the end of each row and fastening off. Okay, I have done several videos already where I walk through the foundation single crochet. I'm going to link to a video here, so I'm not going to actually work up the foundation single crochet in this video. I'm going to link it here. So I'm going to work some crochet magic and here we are with 53 foundation single crochets. At the end of the row, fasten off. Snip the yarn, and I always just do a chain 1. Some crocheters like to do a chain 2. My blanket holds up just fine with the 1, so that's what I'm going to leave it as. Okay, so now that I've fastened off, I am going to start off right where I started. I don't turn my work or anything. I just go back to the right side. If you're left-handed, you can also, work from the left to the right. It's fine. I'm going to take my color B, my white color here, and make a slip knot. And we're looking here on row 2. So here we start with our beginning border stitch and our ending border stitch here. I think that row 2, it's really hard to make this special stitch because what you need to do is work through the post of your stitch. And I think that with this foundation single crochet, I haven't really found a good way to do that. So instead what I'm going to do is just go through the first stitch and make a single crochet. Okay, you see how I've made a V here? Now for the rest of the rows, the beginning border stitch is going to be worked through that V, like right in the middle of that V. So that'll make sense a little bit later. But now the rest of the stitches here are back loop only single crochet. Even though this is a white box and this is a black box and you think those are different stitches. No, it's still going to be the same. It's still going to be just back loop only single crochet, and you're only going to be using the white yarn. Even though the chart shows white and blue, it's fine. Okay, so let me show you how that works. The next stitch here, it's going to be back loop only. You know that any stitch, most stitches have a front loop and a back loop when you're crocheting. Front loop is the one closest to you, the back one is behind. So for the back loop, like a normal stitch, you would go like under both of those loops, right? So for normal stitch, you would go under both of those loops, but that's not what I'm going to do. I'm going to go under just that back loop. Okay, insert my hook. Just like that, okay? That is a back loop only single crochet, just a single crochet in the back loop only. And I'm going to do that all the way across. Okay, all the way across, just going to repeat over and over and over these inside. And then when we get to the end, we do like one final one and then our ending border stitch. Okay, so back loop only single crochet all the way across. And I will meet you at the end of this row. Okay, here I'm ready to do my last stitch. I think that it's a little bit easier here to see what I'm talking about with this ending border stitch. What I'm going to do is go in between the posts of the stitch. You can kind of see there's a little V right here. It is a little wonky, so just bear with me for this stitch and then I'll show you for the next row. Okay, so I'm going to go in between those posts. And then on this side, I want those legs of the post on the back side to go to the right, or to go to the left, excuse me, because I want the legs of those posts to be able to grab on. And this is a great way to do the ending border stitch. I'll also link a video at how I do my beginning and ending border stitches in case it's too confusing for you here. But essentially it's just a single crochet at the end, but it's just worked up a little bit differently. Okay, I'm going to go into that a little bit better right here. So I fastened off and now I secure my yarn and I'm just going to leave these hanging for the whole project, okay? No big deal. We're ready to move up to row 3. I like to use that so I know which row I'm on. Here we start to see some X's. Are you guys excited for that? Look, we get to do our drop down crochet stitches. Okay, move that up. We're going to grab the blue yarn, grab your color A, make a slip knot, and I'll show you the beginning border stitch here. This is really where it comes together. Okay, so you can tell that this is the first stitch. It's just a normal single crochet, and then these ones are on the back loop. Do you see how, you have your V on the top with your front loop and back loop, but also in the front, there's a V, okay? You want to go right in the middle of that V, And then on the back side, you see how there's a V right there? You want to kind of go in diagonal so that both of those V, I call them legs, are pointing toward the outside of your work. Okay, you want them, both of those legs facing towards your ends, because that'll come in handy when we do our envelope border. We're going to latch onto those and use those two loops as like the loops of our stitch. Okay, so I went through the middle and the front and then came out the back at a diagonal so that those two, the V is like on the outside. If you're left-handed, you want them to go to the left, but if you're right-handed, definitely to the right. And the ending border stitch is worked very similarly, but it's just opposite, where you just want to make sure that it goes towards the outside. And you do a single crochet. Okay, that's the beginning border stitch. Now our first stitch here for row 3 after our beginning border stitch is just a single crochet in the back loop only. Do that just the same as we have been doing. Here's the stitch, single crochet in the back loop only, single crochet. Then you'll notice we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 X's. So for the next 9 stitches, we're going to do front loop only double crochet. And we're not going to use this front loop of the white. No, we're going to do it 2 rows below. So not just the row below, but one after that. And you know, in this row, we did the back loop only single crochets. So that left the front loop open for us to go down and grab. I know that my contrast colors might be a little difficult to see, but right here, there's the front loop. Okay, this is my next stitch, and it leaves this little loop in the front. So you just go up and grab that blue. So anytime there's an X and it's using color A, you're going to go down and find the front loop from color A right below that. Okay, if you're color B, it's always going to be a color B front loop. And the reason for that is now we're not going to have a striped project because we're going to crochet over the color that we don't want. Right now we're doing that. This little stitch right here is going to become the bottom of the bobble, like right here. Okay, and then all the rest, we just want to have the background color. So the back loop only stitch will be used later. We're going to do a front loop down below here, but then we just want to cover up all the white with these front loop double crochets. That makes sense? I just wanted to explain the reasoning behind that and what we were trying to accomplish here. So we're just going to do 9. Like I said, there's 9 X's, so we're going to do 9 front loop only double crochet. I'll show you again. I'm going to yarn over. Make sure that we know, like here, this is going to kind of get pulled up. And I think using tighter tension or smaller hook size might change that. You're going to have to experiment with what you like and what works best for you. But here's the next stitch. And there's that front loop that's left over from working your back loop onlys. Okay, you just keep on doing that for 9 stitches. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Oops, that's okay. We'll just find those again. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so we worked our 9, and now you see we have our repeat line. So we go back to the beginning, and we're going to work in between these repeat lines. So we go back to a back loop only single crochet in this next stitch. Sometimes it can be confusing because your unworked stitches are right here, and it can be kind of floppy. If you need to, make sure you go back and count 9 stitches, or you can kind of line up and see like, okay, this is the next stitch. So that's where my back loop only single crochet is going to go. Okay, we did 1 back loop only single crochet, and now we do 9 more front loop onlys, front loop only double crochet. Some people call it a drop down double crochet. I've heard it called a mosaic double crochet. I've always just done a front loop only double crochet. Oops. We just keep doing this. You can tell with a geometric pattern like this, it can kind of just be really easy to get in the groove. We're going to do like 1 back loop only, 1 front, or 9 front loop onlys, 1 back loop only, 1 front loop only. I counted that, but I was talking, so I wasn't really counting. Okay, 9, and then we're going to start again. We're just going to do the repeats. So that's how you work the repeats. You're just going to keep on working this row for however long you're making your blanket. I think I'm going to turn my little sample here into a table runner or a vertical wall hanging like Tara did, one of my testers. So cute. All right, just keep doing that, following the chart, following the repeats, and I'll see you back at the end, ready to start round 4. Okay, so I've just worked the 9th double crochet here, and then you see we have 2 stitches left. So now we've made it beyond our repeat line, and we're going to do 1 back loop only double crochet, and then our ending border stitch. Okay, so here we go. There's that V of the stitch down below. We're not going to work our ending border stitch like normal through those top loops. We're going to go through the V. Then you're going to work on a diagonal, but the other way. Before we did diagonal that way. Now we're going to go through the middle. Ooh, this is too bright. Okay, and you're going to want to find those 2 legs of that stitch, right? So that stitch right there, those 2 legs. Go through the middle. And this one's trickier than before. Okay, and have those 2 legs be on the outside. Okay, before we had them facing the right, but now we want them to the left, facing the outside of our work. That's the ending border stitch. Just kind of similar but opposite to the beginning border stitch. Oops, see that? Came out when I wasn't looking. I didn't go through my middle. So I'll work it up again. There we go. Oh, I'm making a real mess of this. Okay, sorry about that. There we go. So then essentially you're going to have these V's that are stacked on top of each other. It's going to look quite nice. Fasten off and go. Okay, the reason that we have this extra stitch on the end of the pattern is just to kind of even it out. Like you'll see it's just like a mirror image of each other, but we don't need that in the repeat. We just need it outside of our repeat box. Okay, hope that helped explain that a bit. Ready for row 4, which is a color B row. So I'm going to grab my white once again. Slip knot and ready to start at the beginning. Okay, beginning border stitch. Let's see if I can walk through this again. Okay, you're going to find your V on the side or in the front. Go right through the middle, but kind of at a diagonal, so that on the back side, come on and focus, that on the back side, those two legs are facing the outside of your work. Okay, we've gone through the middle, you know, on the back side, it's on the outside, such as that. Okay, and then work up single crochet. Here our next stitch is an X. Right away here we're starting with the front loop only double crochet, and that works great because down here we did a back loop only single crochet, and so now we're going to crochet over that and grab that front loop that was left behind that we didn't use from that first stitch. Grab that and do our front loop only double crochet. Okay, and now on top of those 9 double crochets we did, we just have single crochet, back loop only single crochets over those 9 stitches. So we're using the back loop only. We're going to leave those front loops just in case we need them for our drop downs. I feel like it's at this point in some workshops that I've led, or some live videos or something, that people have been like, okay, I understand, you don't need to walk me through the rest of this, because now you kind of know how to do the beginning ending border stitches and you understand how to follow the chart. Okay, there are written instructions that go along as well, so if you prefer the written, then now that you know how to work the stitches, you can just read it and follow along. So I didn't walk you through that stitch, but that was, I knew that it was going to be my drop down double crochet, just because that's really the only place that I can place it, right? Because I can't place a front loop only double crochet anywhere here because there's nowhere to even put my stitch. It has to go here. It's not always going to be that plain and simple for the pattern, but sometimes it is, and it's nice. This one has definite landmarks where you know where I'm going to place this stitch for this row in particular. All right, I'm going to go through and I'm going to show you how to do the ending border stitch one more time. Here I am ready to do the ending border stitch for row 4. I'm going to insert my hook through the middle of that V. Then you notice right now I have the V on the back side. I didn't capture it right. I need to make sure that the V is on the outside of my work and not on the inside. Hope you saw how I did it wrong and change how I can do it right. Okay, and you see the V in the front is stacked nicely with the row below it, so I'm ready to fasten off. Okay, my fellow CAL participants, I am not going to show you how to work the rest of this section up. I think that by now you know how to use the chart to work up your stitches. And my friends, if you don't like a chart, here's the written instructions. And it will tell you, like for row 2, with color B, beginning border stitch in the first stitch, back loop only single crochet across, okay? And then ending border stitch in the last stitch. Okay, row 3, color A, beginning border stitch in the first, back loop only times 1, front loop only times 9. And then repeat those things across, ending with a back loop only times 1 and an ending border stitch. Okay, so that's kind of how, if you don't like the chart, that's how the written instructions work. And it's just the same that we've done here. But that's not all for section 1 of the CAL. We're going to finish up the bobble, and then we're going to add some little boxes on top. We're going to start section 1.2. Ready? Okay, so I finished the first part of section 1, and look at that cute little bobble. Yay! Something that I would like to point out is that you see we have all of these ends here on the side, Please don't weave these in or try to get rid of them in any way. Just leave them as is for now. At the end of the CAL, part 13 is adding this envelope border. And what we do is we create two borders, basically a back side and a front side border, and then we seam them together, hiding these ends inside. We'll trim them up, of course, but we'll just, make a border like this, leave them inside. So just leave your ends like this, and we will hide them in the end. No need to worry about that. Let's move on now to the next part of the CAL, which are the tiny squares. So we're not going to do anything special to add it on. We're not going to, make it separate and seam it. We are simply going to just do row 1 of the second chart and just add that right on top. Okay. I remember the first time I did this, I was wondering, how in the world do I do it? Then I realized it is just like the other rows. You're simply going to do your beginning border stitch, like you would. Here I'm starting with color B, as you can see, which is my white color. Okay, and then we're going to do back loop only all the way across. So we're not too concerned. We're just treating it as an extension of the pattern, and we're going right along here. Okay, now let me also show you that, okay, so for row 2 we have those front loop only double crochets, those X stitches, but where does it go? Down here, there's no place for it to go. Okay, I would just work, because that would be color B, or color A, which is the blue, so row 2, and I would just work those X's into, the front loops of this row. Okay, nothing too crazy. Let me show you. Okay, so this row we're going to do those back loop onlys all the way across, and then we'll meet you back for row 2. Okay, here I've done row 1 of the second part of this section. Did the back loop onlys all the way across. Okay, now for row 2, we do our beginning border stitch, and then we have 4 of our front loop onlys. Okay. You'll see when we do the double border why these border stitches are important. Okay, so we're going to do our front loop only double crochet. Here, maybe it's confusing on the chart. You don't know, where are you going to put the stitch? You're just going to look at your work and realize, okay, there's a front loop only right there. Okay, so work your double crochet. Then you're just going to do that again. And we find out, maybe it seems hard, but really it's not hard at all. We just can do it. So I want to applaud you guys now, because maybe you were scared to start this Nordic Star CAL. You thought, this blanket looks too hard, too confusing, it's going to be too intricate, I'm not going to be able to do it. I hope by now that you realize you can do it and that you are going to make a beautiful blanket. I mean, can we just look at this? I think it is gorgeous, and you can make this. Okay, I'm not going to be doing video tutorials of every section, but now you're able to follow the chart or the written instructions in order to make up the whole entire blanket, okay? Please post questions in the Juniper and Oaks Crochet Community Facebook group or on Ravelry. And then if you see someone's question and you know the answer, go ahead and answer it. We are a community of crocheters here at Crocheting Up this Nordic Star CAL, and thank you so much for being part of it. If you by chance have found this video somehow and you're not part of the Nordic Star CAL, check the description box and you can get instructions on how to do it, okay? You can purchase your ticket for the CAL, and then you will be able to make this whole entire blanket with us. I can't wait to see everybody's works in progress. Please go ahead, post a photo on Instagram or wherever on social media, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, wherever you are. Post your videos, post your pictures of your work so far. Make sure that you use the hashtag Nordic Star CAL, and that you also tag me at Juniper and Oaks so that I can see your beautiful, beautiful work. You guys are the best. Anyone who shares pictures of their works in progress on social media that way will be entered into a giveaway for some Furls Wander acrylic yarn. I can't wait to see your guys' projects. Love it. Okay, happy crocheting.